Iranians today. Here's some of their reaction.
We were happy, actually. We were a lot happy. So after all these tensions, so we finally reached an agreement. So with the West that also protects our rights and also remove their concerns. So of course we were happy. Yeah, I think that's everybody's reaction.
It was very important for me, and I was very grateful, and it gave us many happiness for all of us, all of my members of family, because it was very, I can say it's the greatest step in our country that government has done a great step for our improvement, and I hope that these gaps are removed very soon.
So most Iranians happy, but Iranians are also very shrewd and perceptive. They understand that this is an interim agreement. It's not going to impact immediately the toughest sanctions on oil exports, banking restrictions, Pauline, but they believe this is a positive step, hopefully to get to that stage, but still a long ways away from that, Pauline. Well, if that final stage is going to happen, both sides are going to have to make concessions. It's difficult to say what Iran is prepared to concede, but we can tell you what they're not going to concede. They've made it clear that they're not going to concede what they call a peaceful nuclear program, and especially the uranium enrichment. They believe this is their right, and it's important to examine their position. Their nuclear program has become a source of national pride, a symbol of defiance against what they call Western imperialism and hegemony and bullying. This is a nuclear program that started back in the 1950s with the help of the United States. It was only after the 1979 revolution that Western powers, Washington and Israel, started sounding the alarm about Iran's nuclear program, that they may be building a bomb. They believe it's baseless. Their position is not a single authoritative, objective, unbiased government or entity, not even the IAEA, has made public evidence that Iran is making a bomb. So they believe a peaceful nuclear program is their right, so is uranium enrichment. And that's something else they're celebrating today, this agreement that recognized their right to enrich uranium at 5%, Pauline.
Well, more tension in the East China Sea. Japan's Prime Minister has a strong message for China over its new air defense zone. The zone announced by Beijing on Saturday covers airspace around island which both countries claim as their own. Now, Shinzo Abe calls China's move profoundly dangerous and says it could escalate the situation. China says the zone is for self-defense and that it will take defensive emergency measures against any aircraft within the zone that refuse to follow instructions. Abe's comments follow a warning to China from the U.S. that the move could stoke the flames of a very delicate situation. But David Mackenzie reports China is not backing down,
saying they should stop taking sides in its territorial dispute with Japan, saying that the Americans should stop making inappropriate remarks. The latest escalation of tensions comes after China announced an air defense zone over the weekend. The zone stretches deep into the East China Sea and covers a series of disputed islands, known as the Diaoyu Islands in China and Senkaku in Japan. Both countries claim the islands, and they're believed to be near large reserves of natural resources. On Saturday, China said it began patrols of the air zone. Japan said the Chinese planes came within miles of its airspace. In response, Japan scrambled fighter jets. The Chinese planes then moved out of the area. Washington has warned that Beijing's actions could lead to misunderstanding and miscalculations with its military ally Japan. Japan called it profoundly dangerous. China's response?
The purpose of setting up air defense identification zone in the East China Sea is to defend China's sovereignty, secure Chinese territory and airspace, as well as to maintain order in relevant airspace.
He went on to call the criticism unjustifiable hype. While few people believe that China and Japan would purposely start a military conflict, many say that this latest move by China could escalate tensions in an already troubled region. David Mackenzie, CNN Beijing.
Now to Ukraine's capital, and 2 straight days of clashes between police and protesters there. Anger has boiled over in Kiev that government suspended talks with the European Union. At stake is politics and trade agreement. CNN's Phil Black is monitoring the situation from Moscow and tells us the thrust behind this protest.
Very ambitious free trade and political association agreements with the European Union. They've been under negotiation for years now, and they were due to sign them at a summit later this week. The whole idea behind these agreements is about integrating the Ukraine more closely into the European Union, about establishing more of a link, raising the level of its economy, its political system, its legal system and so forth, so that it is in line with that of Europe. And it is this decision by the Ukrainian government not to proceed with that has angered the people on the streets of Kiev. They believe that that agreement is very much marks a way for the future of Ukraine, of modernising the political system and the economy as well. Now, it is no secret that Russia did not want this deal to proceed. Russia instead would rather see Ukraine as part of its own rival geopolitical bloc, which it is in the process of establishing, known as the Customs Union, which currently consists of Russia, Kazakhstan and Belarus. Russia would like Ukraine to be part of that as well. And the view from Brussels, from the European Union, is that Russia is responsible for this last-minute decision by the Ukrainian government. In a statement released today from Brussels' most senior officials, they effectively accuse Russia of bullying the Ukrainian government into taking this course of action. They say they are aware of the external pressure that has been applied on Ukraine, and they strongly disapprove of Russia's position and actions in this case. Pauline.
Well, it's time to take our second break. We'll be right back. Well, let's now join the Central Forecast Office for a look at the day's weather.
The source assures us of a continuous flow, and from there, everything follows. And for those of us who know what the River Gambia stands for, understanding its sustainability in all aspects of life is easily confirmed. The River Gambia provides nutritious delicacies as food, while it provides its wildlife a balanced ecosystem. This river, as a sanctuary, is committed to its inhabitants' needs without season. And as you travel along, all these values are replicated in one company, Elton. Just like the River Gambia, leads in its commitment to values that matter most. Elton, championing the vision for a new generation.
Good evening and welcome to the weather segment, beginning with a summary of the weather during the day today, followed by a forecast. The Gambia this afternoon was generally mild but sunny. And for what will happen next, let's start with a look at the satellite image captured at 16:30 hours, indicating generally stable conditions over the northern part of the continent. There were convective systems observed over the central part. And over the Gambia tonight, we are expecting conditions to be partly cloudy and cool. Tomorrow will begin with a partly cloudy atmosphere. It will also be cool. And we're expecting a warm and sunny atmosphere later in the day. Winds will continue to be northeastern orientation, but generally light to moderate in speed. It is indicating the creeping in of the Hamilton winds. Morning temperatures will be 20 degrees Celsius over the Greater Banjul and the West Coast region. And we're expecting 18 degrees Celsius over the rest of the Gambia. Top temperatures will be 31 degrees Celsius over the Greater Banjul area, between 33 degrees Celsius over the West Coast region. North Bank will record 36 degrees Celsius. The rest of the country will record 37 degrees Celsius tomorrow afternoon. Low tides will be 0.6 meters at 9:59 a.m. and 0.7 meters at 6 minutes past 10 in the evening. High tides will be 1.4 meters at 3:24 a.m. and 1.2 meters at 4:21 p.m. The sun will rise at 12 minutes past 7 o'clock and will set at 18:33. Thank you and good night.
And before we take leave of you, a quick reminder of the day's top stories. The harvest is plentiful, so too are the laborers. Enthusiastic volunteers from the Casamas and different parts of the country have been helping to gather the yield from the head of states Tasilame and Kanilai fields. Ukrainians, angered by their government's decision